Welcome to Plug In. I'm your host, Stephanie Myers, and you are listening to the 19th episode. And here joining with us is Dave Leckness from Vector Control. Good morning.
Hey, thanks, Stephanie.
So let me ask you, first thing is, honestly, what is Vector Control?
Stephanie, I'm glad you asked because that's my role. I'm a board member. Avi, are you familiar with Vector Control?
I heard of them, and every now and then I call them, but...
All right, and you call them because of rats or whatever.
Yes.
Vector Control, Stephanie, just so you know, the word vector, because that's the first thing I thought when I became on the board a couple years ago. What is vector? What is a vector? Vector means a carrier.
Uh-huh.
It's a carrier. So the Orange County Vector Control District, their job is to protect the citizens of Orange County from vectors and vector-borne diseases. That's their primary role, is to protect you.
The other thing I found out about them in my tax bill, I see it, vector control. But that's about it.
You know how much it is? Let me tell you, because a lot of people say, hey, how much is it? Stephanie, you're probably asking, how does somebody pay for this? How do we pay Vector Control? Vector Control gets $1.92 per home in Orange County. No, not per month, per year.
Per year, wow.
$1.92, that's chicken feed.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's not even a hamburger.
That's on the. I believe that's on the federal side. On the state side, it's like $5 a year, and then here's the on your property tax. It's .0000. That's 4 zeros.
Wow.
1 4.
Wow.
So it's real insignificant what you pay, but for what they do for you.
Okay, what do they do for me? I haven't seen anything.
Oh, well, that's their job. Because if you haven't seen anybody keeling over from West Nile virus in your community, we're doing our job.
Okay.
But I do want to get serious because it has been, 2014 has been a terrible, what we call off-the-charts year for vector control and the West Nile virus.
But I thought the West Nile virus, specifically, they need water or... It's
and it's a mosquito.
Dirty water. Yeah.
We are in drought. Where do they find the water?
That's such a great question. Last year, starting off the year, we had 2,000 empty pools or pools that are, they've been abandoned.
Okay.
Then we did a flyover in April, and we did a flyover completely of Orange County to look at all the other homes. Are there any other pools that need to be looked at?
Yeah.
And we found 1,000 more pools that have been abandoned that are breeding grounds for the mosquito.
So it's not really the water.
It's horrible conditions out there. 3,000 pools are out there right now that have been abandoned. And what happens is when you're losing your home, if you can't afford it, you lost your job, you're losing your home, the first thing to go is the pool boy.
Yeah.
The pool boy's out of there, and now that pool just turns into a breeding ground.
I remember we worked in foreclosures, and we go to these homes with massive pool, and the pool literally green, and we had to go to Home Depot and get all these chemicals to dump in it until the bank approved the cleaning.
But now you call Vector Control. We have these. If you've ever get a moment, you need to come to our headquarters in Garden Grove. We have a fish, they're mosquito-eating fish.
Oh,
we breed them there, and I don't know the word breed, but it's like a hatchery. You hatch them there. And every day, the guys, the staff from Vector Control get buckets of these fish, these mosquito-eating fish, and they take them to these pools that we talked about, and we're trying to kill off these mosquitoes.
Can they survive in this water? Because the water is so green, and then you have the...
I was going to say the chlorine, the chlorine, and some pools have salt water in them, so I'm surprised to...
They love it.
These bionic fish.
But what about the mosquitoes?
And it's so terrible because think of this here. I want to tell you a statistic. And remember, we are leading not only California. Orange County is leading not only California, but the nation in West Nile virus infections. It is absolutely devastating what has happened out there. We had 7 individuals in Orange County die last year because of West Nile virus, and another 200 and something are infected. And you say, what happens when you're infected? You're infected. You're nauseous. It's
almost like
fever.
Lyme disease.
It's like you get the fever. You get all these bad things, and then what's worse is it burrows into your brain and turns your brain into mush, and you have to relearn to walk. The worst is if you die.
Yeah.
But anyways, let me just give you this analogy that I think is pretty powerful. We had 7 people die in Orange County. If we had 7 people attacked and killed by sharks in Orange County, do you think it would be on the news? If we had 7 people attacked by a mountain lion while a bike riding,
it will
Right.
be.
It would be
Every, Fox will never CNN.
Yeah.
Every 2 seconds you will see it.
You make a great point, and I mean that's really important because exactly if it were someone like shark attacks, it would definitely
be on the news.
Yeah, it would be on
because
the news.
it's a small mosquito. We have this poster at Vector Control, and it lists the world's most dangerous animals.
Yes.
Okay, and at the bottom of the list is the elephant. Then there's the tiger. Then there's the lion, and then the shark. At the top of the list, the most dangerous of all is the little tiny mosquito.
Wow.
That one has killed more people in
because you don't see
time.
it coming. I mean, you see the lion or the elephant or whatever, but the mosquitoes
mosquito,
are everywhere, and you don't notice it. And even if it hits you and bites you, you don't notice it until you fall
later.
sick.
Yeah.
And people could think that, I have the flu, I just have a really bad cold, that I haven't been taking care of, and I think that's really important. So how can people sort of prevent?
That's my job on the board. My job is to come to great places like Orange County Digital Studio, right here with Plug-In, getting the message out. Thank you for this, because this is what we have to do. We have to let the public know you have to protect yourself. In the evening, you've got to put on some DEET, some kind of repellent, because if you have to put it on your kids and the elderly. They're the most susceptible to this
the mosquito
problem
bite.
with it.
But let me ask you a question: is it more in the summer or the winter? Is it seasonal or is it?
Yes. Like this time last year, we saw this coming. We started doing all this analysis, and we go, we're going to have a bad year. Are you ready for this? I'm going to tell you something you're not even going to believe. We tested the mosquitoes, last year. 80% of the mosquitoes that we caught and tested in Orange County, 80% had the West Nile virus in them. Can you imagine that? 80% of the mosquitoes are carrying the West Nile virus. So when you go outside, you have to be ready, because it's very possible if a mosquito lands on you, it's carrying the West Nile virus.
Does it affect animal or just human?
Crows, birds, it does. It doesn't. We can't get it from a bird. Okay. The only way a human can get it is through a mosquito, through a blood.
Essentially a blood transfusion.
This is what happens here. The life of a mosquito, it lives in that little area. Any kind of standing water that you have, it's going to live there. It breeds, and as soon as the thing flies off of this water after 7 days, it only takes 7 days for the cycle to start.
Oh gosh!
It flies off. The first thing this mosquito has to do is get a blood meal. It has to have a blood meal. And over the millions of years, these mosquitoes have this incredible ability to seek out carbon dioxide, what we breathe out. And so then the first thing they do is they bite something.
Wow.
And animals are usually, the first thing they find.
So the bottom line is that you need to, what's the message to the public? If they have a pool, make sure that it's not green.
That's one of the main areas is pools, or little, if they have potted plants around their homes. Here's the good news for this down south area. Mission Viejo and San Juan Capistrano and Irvine, we haven't had the problem like in the northern Orange County. Santa Ana is off the scales of everyone who's been infected. Most of them are coming from Santa Ana area. And the reason is, in Santa Ana, a lot of homes don't have air conditioning. In the summertime, when this happens, when you get bit, they don't have screens. Many of the homes don't have screens. They open their windows, and these mosquitoes
they just fly in. And
I seen another phenomenon, and it's maybe Santa Ana. I see a lot of people. They have like tires and what have you in the back, and some of the water that seeps into the tire. It's a perfect breeding ground for those, and more so because they have bigger lot in some areas, so they use them as storage or as a junkyard in the back of the house.
And underneath the street, every city's got a whole other city underneath the city, and it's called the storm drains, right? I've been down in our storm drains here in our city, and unless the city keeps this clean. It is again a breeding ground. Underneath some cities, they have tires, they have leaves, shopping carts, all this stuff, and it stops the flow of water. And then this is
it's
what
like a
happens.
dam, and the water stays in the.
We've got a truck at the Orange County Vector Control that you've got to see this vehicle. at night and during the day. It rolls around. Every city in Orange County has these trucks, and they put a tube down the manhole of manholes wherever they are, and it blasts this poison down into the manhole to kill these mosquitoes.
Wow.
And this happens while you're sleeping, or while you're at work. Orange County Vector Control is out there protecting you.
So how did you get to this board? What drove you to get on the board?
2 years ago, our mayor asked me, I was on the council, asked me if I would like to do this, be on the board of Vector Control. And again, I didn't know what Vector Control was, but now I'm an expert.
Like every...
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm an expert. Anyway, so I did it, and I really enjoy it. It's good to see us helping people, because it's devastating.
So is it government elected position or just assigned?
Each city sends a representative.
Okay.
And sometimes it could be the mayor, it could be the mayor pro tem, it could be a council member, or it could be a resident of the city.
Okay.
There's a board of 34 cities. There's 34 cities in Orange County.
Yeah.
The board is made up of 34 individuals plus a supervisor, and they're all in a room. They have all got a desk with microphones, and then they set the policy and they set the direction that they want to see the Orange County Vector Control head down.
Yeah. Okay. So we are the richest, almost one of the richest county in the country, with the biggest vector or mosquito problem.
Mosquito problem.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, and it just doesn't seem right. Up until last year, we were actually a poster child of greatness with this problem. But now, last year was just one of those years. It's just we can't really figure it out what the heck happened. But
and now with the measles, we where it started, the epicenter of measles in Disney.
Yeah.
So.
We're not on a good track right now. We need to change that, because I mean it's really a scary situation when you look at it, from your perspective, and now from my perspective. I don't even.
Well, thank you for having me, because this is the way it starts. You have to get education.
Yes.
You have to get the message out there, and it's thanks to people like you that are willing to say, let's talk about this. Let's find out what's going on.
Yes.
And
because it's not headline news. It's not CNN and headline news. Okay.
All right, we are going to take our first commercial break. We'll be right back.